Hi everyone, I am Garuda, and today we're taking a look at the DX Jet Garuda from Choujin Sentai Jetman. Now, I absolutely love this toy, but unfortunately he really isn't that much fun to handle compared to Jet Icarus. And that's because this whole back section, which later becomes the legs, is just really loose and floppy, and this doesn't really hold well together at all. I also noticed that one of the landing gears is on backwards. Now, I did attempt to take apart those back sections to see if I can fix the landing gear, but then I ended up realizing what's causing the back section to be so loose, at least around the ankle area. And I was able to tighten it with a screwdriver, and that seemed to do the trick. But as for this other one here, I unfortunately was unable to fix it because I just wasn't able to remove it and unscrew it back in to tighten it. Now, this mode is known as Bird Garuda, and I think as a design this is way better than the other 5 jet machines in the Jet Icarus set. And it's very well proportioned, and it actually looks like it could actually fly in real life. Unfortunately, mine is kind of broken, as you can see there, but I'll get to that later in the video. And when you flip this guy over, you pretty much can see the entire robot mode underneath. As for posability, the head can look down and the mouth can open. And here it is next to the other 5 jet machines, and this is what I mean when I say that Bird Garuda just looks way better as a jet than the other jet machines, but I still think the jet machines look pretty good for what they are. Unfortunately, while I was filming this video, I accidentally broke Jet's Swan. While I was transforming it, when I took this piece apart, this tab on the other side actually broke off. And as you can see, I tried to use super glue to fix it, and at first it was working, but when I combined this with the Jet Garuda, it sadly broke again. And when I put it back in, it tends to be very loose, but when I push it to the side a little bit, like so, it seems to tab in okay, and it's not really all that noticeable. And when I really consider the age of this toy, it was made in 1991, making it 29 years old at the time of this recording. So I guess this toy was destined to break in some way, shape, or form. But despite that, this toy has held up its age pretty well. I guess I'm just gonna have to accept the fact now that from now on he'll just be a floppy boy from now on. Now that I got that depressing start out of the way, let's move on to this guy's only accessory. It's a black tray with gold chrome missiles that cannot be removed, and it actually got some really nice detail underneath here. And I find that really impressive for something that you're hardly ever gonna really see. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Bird Garuda can also root as well, but not really far at all. Thanks to this black tray, Bird Garuda can combine with Icarus Hawken like this. And here we have the Hyper Hawken, and I think this is gorgeous. It really enhances the look of the Icarus Hawken, and it was an already awesome design, and with this in the back here, it looks even more streamlined and even more aerodynamic. And I just think this is just great. Remember before when I mentioned that one broken peg? Well, when I transformed the head back like this, into that one combined mode, it was originally way too tight, and I knew it was gonna break at some point, and sure enough it did. But even though it was broken, it still seems to lock in okay. And this guy is also very hefty when all combined like this, but because of the floppy stuff in the back, you gotta be really careful and always hold on to the back area when handling, and it's just awesome. Now that we got this mode out of the way, let's take a look at Jet Garuda. And here we have Jet Garuda. And I think this guy just looks really good. Let's go do a full 360 right now. There you go. And unfortunately, transforming this guy just wasn't really that fun because of the floppy legs. It often just got all over the place like that. And even when I tried standing it up, it took a while for me to get it in the right configuration. And it was not really that fun to transform. But eventually, when you have it all fixed and all locked together, it looks pretty good from down here. And one thing I really do not like about this mode is that there's just this gaping hole in the neck, and that's for the helmet in the combined form with Jet Icarus I'll get to later. But it's just really distracting, and it's unfortunate that they had that. I wish maybe they could have had something maybe down here flip up to maybe cover that somehow or something. And while it didn't really get a new head for the robot mode, the fact that it has this bird head on this humanoid body kind of gives it a Egyptian god look, and I think it looks really awesome that way. For the posability, the arms can rotate, but it kind of gets blocked with this wing backpack here. And what's also nice is that the talons can also open up as well. And like before, the mouth can open, and it can also go up, but then that just reveals the helmet for the combined form. And one thing I noticed just now is that the figure's starting to look like it's leaning backward. And that actually kind of makes me a little scared that maybe it'll start getting back heavy and start toppling over. Maybe it's just like the legs not being secure enough, or maybe it's something in the mechanism here. I think it's supposed to be more like that, but for some reason it just keeps going back a little bit like that. So if I just have this like leaned against the wall of my shelf, I think it should be fine. As for a size comparison, here it is next to the Jet Icarus. Now this is kind of funny because in the show they're equal height, but in order for the combination to work, they had to make Jet Garuda much bigger than it normally is in the show. In the show, right before these guys are about to combine, they actually do a little bit of a, not a handshake, but they kind of like do a little bit of a high five, kind of like this, and then they get right into combining. So let's get right into that. And here we have Great Icarus, and this guy is great indeed. Unlike your typical Sentai Mecha Combiner, this combination is actually very clean and is not clustered at all. Everything's all well compact, put together. And like Jet Icarus, it barely even looks like a combiner still. Everything is all just blended in well, and I just love how they did the chest and then just put it in to expand the chest. I just think that is just amazing. I love this helmet and the head sculpt on it. It really just makes it look more dynamic. But when you go up here, you can pretty much see the bird's head. And now I'm just gonna give a full 360 on the figure. show you how it all looks. It looks pretty similar to how it did in Jet Garuda. There you have that. Now, this doesn't really have anything to do with Jet Garuda's legs, at least not that I can really tell. But unfortunately, this guy's not really the most solid and tends to flop around a little. The posability is pretty much the same on as it was with Jet Garuda. With the rotating arms, but now some of the wings out of the way can go back a little bit more, and the talons can open up once again. And as for a size comparison, here we have a more recent Sentai mecha. Here we have the DX Duo King. So overall, I think this is a very nice Sentai figure, and despite the problems with the legs when transforming and combining, I really enjoyed this figure for what it is, and if you're able to afford it, I highly recommend adding it to your collection. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification button. Until then, I'll see you next time. Peace!